Hello, welcome back to Small Talk. I am going to talk about what kind of cooking oil we should use if we want to live a healthy lifestyle. So, I mentioned a little bit in one of my videos previously that I will record a video on what kind of oils we should consume, and I will recommend four different oils that you should consume, and you should not go with any other oil but those. So, number one, I highly recommend olive oil. Olive oil is just it's a bit expensive. It's not as cheap as your other canola and vegetable oils are, or your those seed oils are. However, if you want to live longer and don't want to eat any medicine and don't want to have heart problems and blood pressure and all those things, it will really help you with that. So olive oil is a very good source of natural fats and good fats. You can drizzle that on your salad. You can eat that raw. Even a tablespoon of olive oil, or 2 tablespoons of olive oil will actually help you reduce fat versus gaining fat. You can cook your meals in it. You can even fry your food in it. In the previous, there was a myth that when you heat the olive oil, because the smoke point at a certain degree, certain temperature, the smoke point kills the benefits of the olive oil, but that's not true. Olive oil is has one of the second highest smoke point. Number one is the smoke point wise. Number one is avocado oil, which is even more expensive. So I don't recommend cooking in avocado oil. Of course, if you can afford it, go for it, but it's quite expensive. So usually I buy avocado oil for my salad as a salad dressing. I make my eggs in it, and if I excuse me, if I grill something, I buy that to spray my grill because that's all I can afford. But I definitely use olive oil for my everyday cooking. I don't use any vegetable oil. I used to get those vegetable oils for frying because I figured when you heat the olive oil at a certain temperature, it changes the properties of the olive oil, but that's not true. The new research shows, I think the smoke point for olive oil is like 450 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty high. Whenever we fry something, we don't heat the oil to 450 degrees. It's usually below that, so it's still healthy for you. And so you can have avocado oil, olive oil, and then I would suggest that if you can get authentic Desi ghee, that's very good source of cooking oils that we can use. We have seen that our mothers and grandmothers and our ancestors have lived off of desi ghee. They have been cooking desi ghee for centuries, and they had lived a very healthy lifestyle. My dadi and my father, they practice Ayurvedic medicine. They are Hakim. So my great grandfather was a Hakim, and then my grandfather took over after his dad, and my dad learned it from his dad. And my dadi, my grandmother, she used to make all those herbal medicine, and I remember she used to drink desi ghee in chai in the morning, and she would take the lots of medicine, those Ayurvedic medicine. You have to take them with the desi ghee, and till her death, she had no heart issues, no hypertension, no high blood pressure, none of those. She was in perfectly healthy condition. So desi ghee has been proven to be a wonderful source of cooking oil. Sort of, you can cook your khana in desi ghee. Uh, Number three, I would suggest, if you can't afford any of those and you can't find authentic desi ghee, go with coconut oil, but make sure the coconut oil is raw coconut oil. That's also a very good source of oil that you can use in your cooking, especially if you're frying something. It's cheap, it's not as expensive, and the smoke point of coconut oil is much higher than those vegetable oils. So it still is much healthier version of cooking oil that's available. So I only recommend these four oils that you should use in your cooking, in your everyday uh, um, life. Any other oil is a killer. It's a poison. It's killing us. All this these people who are sick with high blood pressure and hypertension and all these kind of heart disease and other health issues, it's caused by all these factory manufactured oils, which are super bad for you. They're highly processed, and they are just nastiest thing that you put in your body. So try to stick with these four cooking oils, and you will feel the difference, that your life is changing, your health is changing. You may not need to even take that much medication. If you've already ruined your system, that's a different story. But if you're in the initial stages of those illness, it will gradually cure it, and you will feel much better. Um, so, number one, avocado. Number two, olive oil. Number three, desi ghee. And number four, coconut oil. All these oils have been proven to be the best cooking oils in the history of mankind. There's a research done recently on the Middle Eastern countries that why the cancer rate is so low. Sorry, I lost chain of thought there. So low in this country. So of course they did some research, and diet was the was one of the one of the things that was helping them. But also fasting was one of the major things why Middle Eastern countries had the lowest cancer rate. Because the research shows that when you fast for 28 days in a year, like not consecutive 28, like you don't eat anything for 28 days, but like if you're doing longer fast for 28 days in a month, it basically rebuilds your entire body cells. So all your dead cells are gone, they're dead, your body consumes them all for energy, and then your body will produce new, fresh, healthy cells in your body, which is why all those cells who are damaged and who may cause cancer, when you don't eat for a longer period of time, your body is going to consume those dead cells first as a source of energy. So half the problem is solved there, and the second half was the the pie of the puzzle was their diet, of course, because Middle Eastern use lots of olives, lots of olive oils, and dates and natural sweeteners. They don't eat lots of table sugar and white sugar in their everyday diet, and they eat lots of healthy meats. For example, they eat lambs and goats. They don't eat lots of these broiler chicken, those farm raised chickens, because they're not the real meat. They're just BS meat, and they are the killers. And all those eggs that come from those farm raised chickens, they are the terrible things that you put in your body. So they don't do that. They use the natural desi chicken, desi murga jisko hum bolte hain, and they eat lots of goats and farm raised animals, lambs. They don't eat beef as much. Very rarely they eat beef, so their diet is very healthy. They eat lots of vegetables, they eat lots of cheese, olives, olive oils. So that's why and not to mention, being a Muslim, it's our belief that whatever is mentioned in the Quran as a good thing for us, they have turned out to be very good. I mean, the research, of course, 30 years ago the research was different, and now 30 years later they're doing new research now, and they're coming back to ghee. The ghee is being sold at the supermarkets in American stores. I go to Aldi and they have a section where all the oils are, and I see ghee sitting there in a small container. So the white Americans are actually eating ghee with the spoons, which was always the case for us desis. Our dadis and nanis used to cook in desi ghee. Also, coconut oil, we all know that Indian culture particularly is very loving of desi ghee, and coconut oil and coconut. So they consume lots of coconut. They use coconut oil for their hair growth. They also consume lots of coconuts for their everyday. It's like in their everyday diet. Coconut chutneys are very famous in Indian culture. So again, Ayurvedic comes from India. So they are the pro of this Ayurvedic medicine, and desi ghee and coconut oil is widely used in Ayurvedic medicine, and it's very healthy for us. So for me, whenever I talk about anything, I stick to the roots, and the roots are the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we all know that the zaitun, which is olive, are mentioned in the Quran, like how they're very good for us. So the oil of zaitun, the fruit, the olive itself is very good for us. Desi ghee, of course, it comes from the animals, from cows, so it's a very natural source of fats. It's not like factory produced product which is processed. You can make desi ghee at home. I've been making desi ghee at home for the last 2 years. and it tastes delicious. It's very good. I boil some white rice. I put like a tablespoon of desi ghee on it, and I put some dal and jam. That's the best meal I always eat. I make desi ghee paratha in the morning sometimes. When I make aloo paratha, I put lots of desi ghee on it. The best ever. Tastes good. It's healthier. It's better. And same thing with olive oil. I use olive oil as my dressing on my salads. When I cook fish, I drizzle lots of olive oil. I make hummus at home sometimes. I put lots of olive oil, like a good amount of olive oil on my hummus, and I let it soak in the olive oil for like good 7 to 8 hours, and boy, it tastes so good, so delicious. So if you get used to it, and it keeps you fuller for a long time, all those fats are really good for you, and they keep you full for a long time, then you don't need to, then you don't feel the urge to eat every 2 hours or every 45 minutes. You don't need to munch on something. So please let me know if this video was helpful. Please subscribe to my channel. Please give my video a thumbs up. Until next video, Assalamu alaikum.